kapwa ko senador na siguruhin namin na magkakaroon ng isang tapat at independenteng investigasyon. Maaring totoo na kasabwat sa illegal na droga ang mga Parojinog. Maaring totoo yung mga akusasyon na sila ay drug lord. Pero kahit pa ganun ang mapatunayang sitwasyon, kailanman hindi dapat ang gobyerno mismo ang bumabali.
Two Parojinog siblings underwent inquest proceedings today at the PNP Custodial Center in Camp Crame. The two are allegedly involved in the illegal drugs trade. 15 people, including the father of the two, Ozamiz City Mayor Reynaldo Parojinog, were killed in an early morning raid conducted by the PNP CIDG operatives over the weekend. Eunice Monte has more details.
Almost 2 hours. The controversial inquest proceeding of the Parojinog siblings was held inside the custodial center of Camp Crame, where its attorney, Department of Justice representatives, and panel of prosecutors were present during the proceeding. While the case in the court is yet to be filed, the Parojinogs are already facing charges including illegal possession of firearms and explosives and illegal possession of prohibited drugs, with 1 kilo of shabu seized inside the residence of the Parojinogs. But according to their personal attorney, the panel of prosecutors are yet to decide if there is a probable cause. The firearms and evidences recovered were also brought at Camp Crame for investigation.
Hindi katulad dito, wala pang internal investigation, mukhang absuelto na. So, the presumption of regularity ceases pagka may napatay na. Kasi that is out of the ordinary. Hindi na regular yung may napapatay.
Meanwhile, Parojinog Camp is determined to file a case against the Philippine National Police upon its violation of the Article 125 of the Revised Penal Code or the reglementary period. According to the attorney, it is unlawful that after 36 hours of arrest, his clients without inquest proceedings were still detained by the PNP.
Kinukonsidera po namin ng seryoso ang paghahain ng reklamo para sa paglabag ng Artikulo 125 ng Revised Penal Code. Dahil lumampas po ng 36 hours, yun pong pagka-detine ng aming mga kliyente na wala pong inquest at wala pong pinafile na mga charges.
The daughter and the Ozamiz Vice Mayor Nova Princess Parojinog and his brother Reynaldo Parojinog Jr. are still detained at PNP Custodial Center, while the PNP is also now investigating their possible connections to a bigger network of drug lords in the Philippines. It can be recalled that it was early Sunday morning when CIDG Region 10 launched its operation to the house of Parojinogs, where Mayor Parojinog, its wife Susan, and 13 others were killed in the legitimate police operation. The attorney also denied that the white substance held by the vice mayor during the operation was a pack of illegal drugs.
The migrant workers phenomenon began in the 70s. Together with it came the practice of sending balikbayan boxes filled with so-called PX goods, as an expression of the overseas Filipino workers' value of sharing blessings with family and friends back home. But as the peak season for sending balikbayan boxes approaches, the Senate Committee on Ways and Means seeks to review the limit set by the Department of Finance, a move seen as a form of injustice for the modern-day hero. Sweden Volado has more of the story.
Senator Sonny Angara, chairperson of the Senate Committee on Ways and Means, requests the Department of Finance to change its implementing rules under Customs Administrative Order 5-2016 that states all balikbayan boxes per sender in any year shall not exceed 150,000 pesos. The senator says it's against the intention of the Balikbayan Box Law to allow overseas Filipino workers to send balikbayan boxes worth 150,000 pesos each thrice a year, as long as it don't contain commercial goods intended for retailing and won't exceed 450,000 pesos in a year. Angara adds the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, or CMTA, recognizes the positive contributions of OFWs to our economy. Thus, they must enjoy benefits due them. Sheila has been working as domestic helper in Qatar for 3 years, and she fully knows the sacrifice and challenges in sending one balikbayan box.
Ipisil po ako nagpapadala ng balikbayan box kasi po mahirap po talaga na mag-ipon. Yung mga allowance namin, ibig na ikain namin, hatiin na lang namin. Ganyan po ng ganito allowance po yan.
Senator Cynthia Villar supports efforts of the government to make sending balikbayan boxes more convenient. She thinks itemizing contents of the box is unnecessary.
Bakit ba natin Nagkakaguluhan yung balikbayan box. Unless it is being used for illegal activity, then that's the time. Pero kung yung typical na balikbayan box na binibigay ng pamilya sa kanyang pamilya, I think there's no argument with that. Sa akin, ibigay na yan sa kanila. That's their only joy na mag-impake ng box na yun at ipadala sa pamilya nila.
Meanwhile, the Department of Finance stressed they're only interpreting what's stated in the law and there is no basis to construe the provision to mean it shall be 150,000 pesos per box. We're only a month away before Burr Month's kickoff and thousands of balikbayan boxes are expected to arrive in the country for holiday season. The Senate is hopeful that cry of OFWs will be heard before that time comes.
It truly is a fishwife's tale, not legitimate news. This was the swift response made by the megacity's police force over a story conjured up and disseminated by a prominent Persian Gulf state news agency that a good number of people are sleeping with the fishes in Manila Bay. This along with an intensified crusade by the law enforcement to absolutely rid the suburbs and the surrounding provinces of illegal gambling in this event's summary called by Julius de Samburun.
During the Malacanang press briefing, the National Capital Region Police Office refuted reports from the Qatar-based news network that bodies of illegal drug suspects were dumped into the Manila Bay. The news network's alleged source were local fishermen hired by authorities to dispose of those bodies.
As of this time, we have not received any report of recovery of dead bodies in Manila Bay. I don't know where they got that information. Since the start of the war on drugs. Except of course yung dun sa may bandang Tondo, I don't know if it's part of the Manila Bay, hindi yata kasi that's just a river.
Earlier, Senior Deputy Executive Secretary Minardo Guevara said these were just gossips and had no definite basis. Government cleared to its critics that the more than 3,000 drug personalities killed within the one-year period were from legit anti-drug operations. Albayalde also added that names included in President Duterte's list on narco-politicians were mostly from local government units.
Here in Metro Manila, we have arrests barangay officials already involved in illegal drugs. So it's not far-fetched that there are still or there are more politicians, probably barangay councilor or city councilors down are still involved. Some probably will just be involved in protection.
Aside from illegal drugs, NCRPO's focus is also to stop illegal gambling, and they are ready to abide with whatever directives from PNP Chief Director General Ronald Bato de la Rosa.
That will be a part of our counterintelligence effort. Meron tayong CITF. I think that will be a part of their mission also na tignan din yung mga tumatanggap o nagbibigay ng proteksyon.
Police regional directors across the country were given 15 days to stop the illegal numbers game, particularly wetting in Metro Manila and Luzon, amid criticisms of alleged anemic performance of the PNP in running after gambling financiers. De La Rosa warned that if regional directors failed to comply with his order, he would not hesitate to relieve them from their posts and replace them with competent ones.
Dahil pinahiya niyo yung presidente in spite of the fact that we have a serious war against drugs. Hindi lang kayo dapat managot. Dapat nga mag-resign na kayo eh.
The chairman of the House Committee on Dangerous Drugs is asking BOC Commissioner Nick Faildon to step down from his post. This comes after more than 6 billion peso worth of shabu has entered the country. Aside from this, the BOC also attempted to recover the contraband but eventually failed in their raid. However, Commissioner Faildon refused to give into pressure.
The soldier doesn't quit from his mission, but the soldier can be fired. So let the president fire me.
In the House's earlier investigation, a standoff seemingly loomed between the Customs and PIDEA. Some lawmakers questioned BOC why they conducted the raid without officials from PIDEA, which is the lead agency in drug operations.
Binubola mo kami. Alam mo ba yung batas? Alam mo yung provisions ng 9165? Alam mo?
Not specifically, Your Honor.
Hindi mo pala alam eh. Ano yung sinasabi mo? Nagse-surveillance ka, binobola mo kami. Alam mo, unang-una, you cannot conduct an anti-drug operations without the presence of PIDEA, and that is very clear in the law.
Faildon admitted that it was his fiancée who was not even an employee of BOC who suggested what to do with the smuggled shabu. PIDEA NCR Director Wilkins Villanueva said that it was too late when Customs asked for assistance.
Yung lahat ng drugs na yon contaminated dahil ang lahat na ng tao nagawak eh. Lahat na ng tao nag-selfie na dun sa drugs eh.
Faldon defended himself by saying that PIDEA took long before they could act on the issue.
Problema, nagmamagaling-magalingan tayo dito. Eh wala naman pala tayong alam.
Meanwhile, Valenzuela Congressman Wes Gatchalian asked the BOC why they had to go back to the warehouse 4 days after the raid. He says this might just mean that there is a shipment yet to be recovered.
Ito ba intentional na hindi ho namin malaman, hindi malaman ng media at ano ba ho ang katotohanan na storya dito?
Your Honor, there is no intent to hide anything, Your Honor. As I was saying earlier, Your Honor, wala po kaming ibang intention dito but to recover this shipment of drugs, Your Honor.
Gatchalian asserted that Valenzuela residents are now in fear that the allegedly missing shabu will reach their neighborhood. Suspended Customs Officer Larry Bert Hilario is yet to face the hearing. But even before it started, Barbers has already labeled BOC as the country's most corrupt agency. Faldon said they have achieved more in a year compared to the past 6 years of the previous administration. However, the House Speaker begs to disagree.
Grossly incompetent. Hindi lang po incompetent.
President Duterte himself